All right. Funny thing is, because I got a lot of work done over the last couple of days, I already had videos lined up. So I wasn't going to do any like videos, but man, I saw this and I was like, dude, there's no way I cannot do a video on this. Where do I start? It's going to be a difficult thing to comprehend, right, for you guys. So let me show you guys the video. Let me show you the video, and then we'll discuss what's going on.
The Iowa caucus is essentially the perfect example of systemic racism. 91% of the voters in Iowa are white. The reason why you see a drop in turnout, I'm just speculating here, it could be perhaps that white children are not in the cages. So when you're talking about the tangible pain that black and brown people are feeling, they feel a sense of urgency because their kids are being put in cages, right? The Iowa caucus is essentially the perfect...
Now, I know you guys, some of you guys are going to be like rewinding that and do what you got to. But long story short, she's saying that, Iowa caucus voter turnout isn't as, I guess, high maybe as anticipated. And she's blaming that on, I guess, racism, specifically black and brown kids being locked in cages. Now, this is why and where more so mainstream leftists lose people, because and a lot of people are starting to wake up to what they do, and it doesn't matter if they're Republican, Libertarian, or anything like that, or even people that have historically, for the most part, aligned themselves with, let's say, Democrats in this case. Because the race card in this element, right, or pulling some aspect of racism, is the card that they pull everywhere, right? And she is trying to, her name is Zelena Maxwell, I believe is how you pronounce her name. But she's trying to pull this and take this angle that doesn't even make any sense. But that sort of thing happens. It happens when you can't actually explain it. You're just more so looking at an end game that you're trying to prove, and that's racism, right? That's just racism. How they get there, clearly she's not concerned. Because it doesn't even make any sense, right? Because she's talking about, well, the white kids aren't in the cages and all of this. It's like, well, the white kids aren't the ones that are voting. Anyway, right? And the ones that, if the claim is that there are black and brown people in jail, or in cages more so, if that is the claim, the black and brown kids, they don't vote either. And this is the side of rhetoric, obviously, you guys know when you talked about border enforcement, dare I say, and that's the angle that they took, the whole locking people up in cages. So they're going to repeat that because they feel like it takes a knock at everybody that is maybe against their narrative. This does not make any sense, okay? Like what she's saying doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't. It's like, how are you trying to connect the dots? And I watched this several times trying to make sense of what angle she's going. She's talking about a sense of urgency. I'm like, are you trying to say that, because their people are in cages, they feel this sense of urgency? And I'm like, wouldn't that mean that they would be more itching to try to go vote and stuff like that, which would mean a boost in turnout if that's the claim? You know what I mean? This whole urgency thing. So it doesn't make sense. But she is so fixated on applying race to this that's what it came out. That's what came out. It doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make any sort of sense. I watched this several times. Like, what is she talking about, man? Like, what does that have to do with any of this? It's Iowa. I'm pretty sure most of the voters anyway out there are not. I'm pretty sure. I know most of them out there are white anyway, but the angle that she's taking makes absolutely no sense. She just wanted to use this as an opportunity to say, okay, there's existence of systematic or systemic racism. Again, how she got there wasn't important because that makes no sense. I mean, you're talking grasping for all the straws you possibly can. This is a huge reach. But again, if there's anything that you should be able to learn from it, is that not only does it show you guys these mainstream leftists and sort of the tactics, but it really does highlight more so how they are so obsessed, and everybody knew this, I would hope, but you're seeing it in action. They are so obsessed with this concept of applying racism that they try to apply it to every single thing, right? And when you are more obsessed, as opposed to analyzing it honestly, as opposed to looking at it objectively, and you're more fixated on, okay, I want to prove something here that is racist, that's what comes out. It's like, dude, this doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no. I had to do a video on this. There's not much else I can say because it sounds ridiculous and the video almost creates itself. But seriously, guys, you see the type of tactics, mainstream leftism and what they try to do, and they try to look at racism in everything, right? In everything, God forbid, they get a result that is unfavorable. That, there's a bunch of different factors that could maybe go into why they utterly I guess failed to meet what they thought, the line they thought they probably should have met when it came to, let's say, I don't know, caucus voters, right? I don't know, like, right? I don't know. It's like when you look at something like that, why people don't do that. I mean, there's a lot that's happened over the last 2 or 4 years. Like, who knows? But as opposed to analyzing it as such, first thing she's saying, the results, when this was put out, the results of they're still having this whole shadow app thing going on, so they don't really know the inconsistencies in the results. So at the time, they didn't know what the results were anyway, for the most part. She is already throwing that card, right? Dude, that's not the way to do it.